If you have a narcissistic mother, you probably would never use the word insecure to describe her. But in reality, all that arrogance is covering up a dark secret. Narcissism forms in childhood and involves a damaged identity. Though your narcissistic mother seems sure of herself, inside of her lives a hurt child who feels worthless. In today's video, I will show you just how that happens and the damage it causes. So let's get started. The reasons narcissistic mothers really are insecure. Narcissism forms in childhood as the result of certain types of trauma. When a child's psychological development is disrupted, they fail to develop a strong sense of identity. For the budding narcissist, they are filled with shame and self-loathing. They bury what they believe to be their flawed true identity, and in its place they construct a false identity to interact with the world around them. They fill that new identity with childlike ideas of perfection and superiority, but they don't have the internal mechanisms to support their own self-esteem. They can't soothe themselves or even tell themselves they are a good person. They need other people to do that for them, which is why they learn to manipulate other people. They usually become very adept at it. Because they live in constant fear of being exposed for what they believe themselves to be, grandiose or overt narcissists are always bragging about their superiority. Covert or vulnerable narcissists want the same things as a grandiose narcissist, but they achieve those goals in a different way. They will often dedicate themselves to doing good with the agenda that other people will see their good deeds and praise them for it. A vulnerable narcissistic mother may dedicate herself, for example, to charity work or helping other people, even at the expense of her own children. Both grandiose and vulnerable narcissistic mothers will demand perfection from their children, and they will become harshly critical when their children can't meet their unrealistically high expectations. Still, despite all outward appearances, on the inside, that narcissistic mother is very fearful and insecure. She is ever vigilant for any possibility of being exposed for what she truly thinks she is. Why narcissistic mothers don't seem insecure? While a narcissistic mother is hiding her true self, she has learned through the years to become a master of disguise. She knows she has to distract the people around her from finding out the truth about her. That's why she learns to manipulate her loved ones so that they will never see through her disguise. As part of her manipulation, she will lie and gaslight her loved ones in an attempt to distort their reality and keep them from finding out about her true self. If someone does get close to discovering her real vulnerability, she often erupts in narcissistic rage. Her rage is designed to keep them from probing any further into her inner secret. She can't reveal any vulnerability for fear they will see through her facade. To the outside observer, the narcissistic mother seems capable and sure of herself. She may even seem to be one of those mothers who can do it all. To her children and partner, however, it's a different story. Though she may not reveal her vulnerabilities, they see a manipulative, deceptive, critical, and rageful woman. They come to fear her reactions. Still, they probably wouldn't describe her as insecure. What's attachment got to do with it? Attachment refers to the way you form relationships with other people and how you behave in those relationships. Your attachment style is formed early in life, and it affects the way you see the world around you. In very basic terms, you either learn the world is a relatively safe place where your needs are likely to be met, or you learn that the world is a fearful place where sometimes your needs may not be met. As psychologists at the University of Wollongong in Australia revealed in a 2021 study, narcissists often have what are referred to as insecure or avoidant attachment styles. That is, they are more negative and fearful when forming attachments, and as a result, they are more emotionally reactive in their interpersonal relationships. The narcissist learns early in life that the world is not a safe place, and thus their insecure attachment styles reflect that negative training. Not everyone with an insecure attachment style becomes a narcissist, but this is the style that narcissists have regarding their interpersonal relationships. It is born out of the fear that their needs will not be met. And of course, they don't want anyone to get too close, lest they discover the truth. This is why the narcissist fears intimacy. Though they want to know everything about you, they don't want you to know almost anything about them. How insecure narcissistic mothers treat their sons. You've probably heard it said before that mothers have a special relationship with their sons, and it is often true of even the healthiest mothers. This is also true of narcissistic mothers, however, and it is not a healthy attachment. Narcissistic mothers often commit a kind of emotional incest with their sons. They see them as potential replacements for their spouses, though not necessarily in a sexual manner. For the narcissistic mother, it's all about narcissistic supply. Her spouse is a good source of that constant flow of adoration for a while, but narcissists learn early in life that people will tire of their abuse. They learn to cycle through friends and family members so as to avoid exhausting one source of adoration. With a spouse, however, there is a lot of demand for attention and praise. On some level, perhaps the narcissistic mother realizes she may eventually exhaust her spouse, or perhaps she fears her spouse will die before her. She sees her son as a potential replacement, and as someone who she expects to continue loving and praising her for the rest of her life. Because narcissists have no empathy, she doesn't know how her behavior affects her son, so she doesn't expect that he will leave her. For this reason, narcissistic mothers are incredibly intrusive into their sons' lives. They cross every boundary and expect that he will drop everything should he be needed by his demanding mother. It frequently interferes with his adult relationships and can even create problems in his professional life. This video has some great information on the characteristics of adult sons who have had a narcissistic mother. How insecure narcissistic mothers treat their daughters. The daughter of a narcissistic mother is usually treated quite differently from a son. While her son is a potential replacement for the demands she places on her spouse, her daughter is competition. In fact, she sees her daughter as a younger, better version of herself. She is someone who can replace her, and that's not what the narcissist is looking for. So she often works to destroy her daughter. She wants to undermine her confidence at every turn and crush her into submissiveness. Most daughters, as they get older, rebel against this harsh criticism and their scapegoat role in the family. They frequently leave home early to escape the abusive environment. If they don't, however, they may become codependent. They may neglect their own needs in favor of attempting to please their mother. It's a futile endeavor because she can't be pleased. Can a narcissistic mother change? Narcissists are very unlikely to change. Part of the problem is that for a narcissist to change, they have to admit there is something wrong with them to begin with. That's a tall order for a narcissistic mother. Narcissists have billed themselves as perfect and superior in every way. If they admit they did anything wrong or that there is something fundamentally wrong with them, their entire house of cards collapses. They are therefore unwilling to seek help. They will typically only do so when they are backed into a corner. If they do genuinely desire to change, there are therapies that can help. To really reduce their narcissistic tendencies, most narcissists will need long-term, intense therapy. Cognitive behavioral therapy and other methods can be used to help them develop empathy for other people, control their rage, and heal their fractured identity mechanisms. It is possible for a narcissist to change, but it just doesn't happen very often. Still, working together, you and your mother can develop a different kind of relationship. Both of you will have to work on it, but it is possible. Finally, narcissistic mothers are, at their core, very insecure about themselves. They became filled with shame and self-loathing as a child, and now they are working hard to ensure no one will ever know how flawed they really are. Unfortunately, they do a lot of harm as they try to protect themselves. They shame, blame, and guilt their loved ones. Maybe even worse is that they use their victims' own emotions to manipulate and control them. I have something that can help, however. It's my 5-step roadmap to heal emotional triggers. This handy guide can help you recognize your emotional triggers. These triggers were created by traumatic events in your childhood, but they were never properly resolved. This guide can help you diffuse your triggers and even heal those old wounds. What's more, it's free, and I'll send it directly to your inbox if you click on the link below this video. Thanks for watching.